This video came up, and it's a few months old, but I wanted to watch it just because it caught my attention. It's called Life is Bullshit, Rant by a Depressed Young Man. It's one of the many instances of people who, unfortunately, are suffering right now. Now, we've already talked about how, despite the fact that we hear a lot about this male loneliness epidemic, Americans overall are very, very lonely right now. And we hear about this also, and a lot, about men specifically, the male loneliness epidemic, stuff like this. And I think that it's not so much an epidemic of male loneliness. It seems to be an epidemic of loneliness and sadness kind of over the entire country. But it's that the way that you go about addressing that could potentially be different. So the problem is that men right now oftentimes don't have a proper outlet for expressing their feelings, whereas women are oftentimes more encouraged to be emotionally expressive. This leads to a lot of men suppressing their emotions. So whereas men and women might be lonely at similar rates, the way that you go about dealing with those feelings of loneliness or depression or despair could be different, and not because men and women are different, but because of the socialization, unfortunately, being different and being gendered. So this video, I wanted to check it out and watch it. And as you all know, I have had my fair share of struggling with depression and OCD and ADHD, you know, the all four elements like what we just were talking about, okay? So if there's any master of the mentally ill, it is I. And that means that I am in the full and God-given position to critique this person's mindset. And the reason is because I'm actually no better than this person. Obviously, I'm not really going to be critiquing anyone's mindset from a judgmental standpoint. Thought we'd just check it out.
I just want to come out here and I want to talk, say something, do something before I feel like I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I guess I'm trying to get away from all this shit, but you can't. It's impossible. You have to be around people. Yet people fucking suck. People don't care about you. If you're a little weird or you're a little awkward, people fucking hate you. They don't want to be around you. And they don't care about any of your issues or how you feel whatsoever. That's the truth. I'm just tired of like feeling this way, you know?
So first of all, I can totally empathize with feeling like misunderstood or like you just can't really like connect with somebody or get like closer to somebody or something like that. I can understand that. However, the big problem here right off the bat that's going to just contribute to like the continuation of feeling depressed, most likely, or at least just make it worse, is the assumption that this is true. Like you're taking like this pessimistic truth standpoint of like, well, I'm just saying the cold, hard facts. It's something that I've done before also, especially when I'm more depressed. I'll be more like, people just don't care. And that's just the truth. That's a fact. That's bullshit. Maybe you're surrounded right now by people who misunderstand you. Maybe you're being mistreated by your community or people around you. That doesn't mean that that is everybody. That doesn't mean that that's the whole world. However weird you might think you are, there are probably several other people that are probably way weirder than you are, okay? And the assumption that just if you're different, no one's gonna like you, or like, well, I'm different, so no one's gonna like me. Well, why wouldn't you try? You probably wouldn't even try to make friends if you have already just accepted that you're awkward and nobody's gonna like you. That's not true. Be confidently awkward.
I feel like most of life is decided from the moment you're born. Depending on what location you're in, what kind of people are around you in the neighborhood you grew up in, what kind of family you have. All of that is decided from the moment you're born and will impact everything else in your life. So if you had a fucked up family life, it's too late. Like that already happened.
But this just is not necessarily true. He's right that, of course, your childhood is going to affect you into adulthood. Of course, the circumstances you're born into are going to play a significant role in some of your behavior and your thought processes as you get older, of course. None of this is not true. But I do think that this is a oversimplification of it, because just if you were born into a circumstance that makes things more difficult doesn't mean that it's impossible to get out of it. And that's why it's so challenging for sure. But it's also, I mean, like, first of all, if this guy had a fucked up childhood or something, I'm very sorry for him. And I don't say this as any way of being dismissive, only to just say there are also a lot of other people who have also had probably even more fucked up childhoods. Who knows? And there are some people who've been able to claw their way out of it, some people who haven't. This kind of goes back into the conversation around systems at play, and also your own free will and personal choice and personal responsibility. There are systems at play. There are systems that can impact you. Absolutely. The type of system you're born into is going to impact you. And it's not up to individuals to change the entire system necessarily. However, it is up to the individual to do the best they can within whatever system they're fucking stuck in to try and maximize their well-being. So the assumption that like you could just pull yourself up by the bootstraps, that's bullshit. It is unfair that people need to work harder, but there are also times where just accepting that and then giving up, that's going to lead to depression. That's going to make you depressed. Don't let it take power over you in that way, I guess, as far as the systems that you were born into. There are ways that you can overcome it. If you feel like you can't, go to therapy and tell a therapist that you don't think you can overcome this thing, and I guarantee that they will help you walk through it.
I feel like no one gives a shit or cares about the problems I have or can relate to them. I want to try and do something where
I feel really bad for this guy. He seems to be really feeling isolated and alone. I wonder if he lives in like a rural area or something where just nobody has any understanding of like mental health or something.
I don't really love anyone in this world. I'm like really alone. Like I'm really fucking lonely.
So he also said that he wants to be alone though, and that he prefers his own company, which is another really difficult thing to grapple with when you're struggling with depression, especially if it's like a really depressive episode in which you want to pull away from everybody and just hide and be left the fuck alone. But then simultaneously, you really just long for like someone to be there and understand or something. But when you're depressed, you isolate. So then you're just telling everyone to fuck off when what you need are the people that are going to care about you there.
You know, I don't know how I'm supposed to fix that. It's like I was born a little weird, I guess. I don't know. I have Asperger's maybe. I don't know, but I don't really know how to connect with anyone in a real way. Shit fucking bites at me, you know?
So yeah, I feel for this guy. It sounds like what he's saying is he's struggling with connecting with people and building like a strong friendship or relationship with people. And in turn, rather than fighting to change that, which seems to be something that's really weighing him down, he's sort of taking the pessimistic stance of, well, this is just how the world is. This is just how things are. And I just need to accept it. And it's sad. I feel bad, very bad for this guy, because I know how that feels also. But I can tell you right now that that is only going to make depression worse. It's only going to make you feel worse. It's like saying, I'm just going to accept that the world is as bleak as I currently see it. And that's just not true.
Like I try and take medicine to my own hands, right? It's my own responsibility and I want to do things better. I've started to be more productive, but like nothing changes. I've put myself out there to try and talk to people, but it doesn't work. Like I'm just meant to be like this.
No. You're not. If being that way is causing you this much distress, then you're not meant to be that way. Then just accepting it is just going to make the depression worse. And it does suck because it's so easy to rationalize depression, especially when you're depressed. There are a lot of things that are wrong in the world. Sometimes it feels easy to rationalize depression or negativity. But I am really glad that he is talking about this. And like I said, I looked at some of his newer videos and he seems to be doing okay, I think, but I think he's still struggling. So show this guy some support.
But I hope I share this video and someone relates to it. Someone can talk to me about this shit and tell me like, yeah, dude, I feel you, man. Like,
also something that helped me when I was really depressed, I forget where I read it, but it said something like, you don't want to die. You just don't want to live like this. And that really helped me like put things into a different perspective when I realized that's true. Like I don't actually want to be dead. I just don't want to live like this. And that is the evidence for you to change something. And talking about it, that is the first step. You're taking the first step towards improving and living a better, happier, more fulfilled life.
I'm gonna try and share this so that anyone else that's struggling, I really fucking hope that I can try and reach you and tell you that like, hey man, we just gotta try, you know? We gotta keep trying and hope things get better. Maybe someday.
This is a kind of positive as far as like we can hope for things to get better, but it's a very cynical sort of perspective at the same time. It's just sad. I feel bad for this guy. I wish this guy would just like come on the channel, hang out on. This guy should just come join the Discord. I'm serious. As somebody who has depression, I can relate with some of this stuff. I really feel bad for this guy. The it's all bullshit mindset. I hope that he's doing okay.